Hey, good evening. My topic for today is about are foreigners allowed to buy property in the Philippines? So, my answer is yes. Foreigners may own real estate property in the Philippines, but they are not allowed to buy and own land. Foreign ownership of property in our country is not absolute and subject to restrictions. Non-Filipinos may purchase and own condominium units built on Philippine soil. Foreigners are prohibited from owning land in the Philippines but can legally own a residence. And if you want to buy a house, consider a long-term lease agreement with a Filipino landowner. You can also purchase a property through a corporation provided its ownership in is 60% or more by Filipino citizens. I'll give you the tips for foreigners on how to own property in the Philippines. Here are the few tips on how foreign nationals can buy and own properties in the Philippines. Often touted as a tropical paradise, it is not surprising that the Philippines attracts interest from many foreign nationals who want to settle either permanently or semi-permanently in the country. It is also helped that the country's economy is one of the Asia's strongest, with more and more foreign businesses choosing the Philippines as one of their key target areas. Although the Constitution does not allow foreign nationals to own land in the Philippines, there are a few legal exceptions. For instance, they may own a condominium unit so long as foreign ownership in a single condo project does not exceed 40%. They may also lease a residential lot for 25 years, which can be extended for another 25 years, and build a house on it. Furthermore, they may also form a corporation with Filipino partners. Again, foreign ownership in said corporation must not exceed 40%, whereupon the corporation can legally purchase and own land in the Philippines. Whatever the route a foreign national decides to take, it is always important to choose the legal path to make the process easier and a list of tips for foreigners in order for them to score the property that best suits their needs. One is they apply for an SRRV. SRRV means Special Resident Retirees Visa. Foreign nationals who want to retire in the Philippines must secure a Special Resident Retiree Visa issued by the Bureau of Immigration of the Republic of the Philippines. It is a special type of visa that grants the holder multiple entry privileges and the right to stay in the country permanently or indefinitely. It may cost around $1,500 and has to be renewed with a yearly fee. However, an SSRV does give the foreign retiree the benefit of owning land in the Philippines. The second one is the research expat populated areas. If you are looking for a property to call home, it might be a good idea to purchase one in expat populated areas such as Metro Manila. The cities of Makati, Parañaque, Quezon, and Taguig would be a good bet. Cebu, Angeles City in Pampanga or Subic Freeport Zone. There are several reasons why these areas are considered expat friendly and have amassed a considerable number of foreign national residents over the years. These reasons include the convenience of the location, secured communities and villages, family-friendly establishments and institutions, and proximity to transportation hubs. Angeles City and Subic were former U.S. military installations that have retained much of their American suburban ambience. And another tip is do not rush into things. Just because you have fallen in love with a property at first sight, it's not always wise to purchase it straight away. Carefully Evaluate the property first. Check its condition, the neighborhood it is in, and perhaps the distance from key points of interest. It is also worth checking out our neighboring areas where better options might be located. And the next tips are: take note of the transaction fees and taxes. Aside from telling out money to pay for the property, keep in mind that there are other fees and taxes that need to be paid, such as documentary stamps tax, transfer tax, registration fee, notarial fees, and loan fees. Taking this into consideration will let you know if your budget is still in check before signing the contract of sale. And the next is: be aware of the rules. Normally, subdivisions and condominiums have a set of rules and regulations that must be followed in order to maintain a clean, orderly, and peaceful community. It is better to know these rules beforehand to see if you are comfortable conforming to all of them, or if you need to find another property should there be any rule that you do not agree with. And the next tips is: consider the after sales dues. If you decide to purchase a condo, keep in mind that there are monthly fees that you need to settle, commonly known as condo dues. The computation of which is based on the size of your unit. For example, for a 150 square meter unit, and a condo that charges homeowners is 75 pesos per square meter. So the monthly condo dues would be 11,250. It is important to settle this every month, as the monetary collected is used for the common areas, upkeep, and wages of security personnel, among many other property-related expenses. And the next tips is: check if the seller is the true owner of the property. You may verify if the seller is the true owner of the property by asking for the original copy of the title and compare it against any valid, ideally government IDs presented. You may also seek the assistance of a licensed broker to verify the authenticity of said title in the local registry of deeds or the land registration authority. And the next tips is: check that the title is clean. It is also important to check the title for annotations, which documents that there is a certain claim to the property by another party. An example would be a bank or loan provider who writes entries or annotates in the land title to signify that the property is mortgaged, although ownership still resides with the owner. As a diligent property buyer, it is important to check titles for these annotations to ensure that the said property is free of encumbrances. And the next tips is: consult an attorney. Finally, do not forget to consult an attorney to draft contracts, notarize documents, and to make sure that everything is authentic and legal. A lawyer can help ensure that you, as a buyer, are protected by the full extent of the law. With the country's booming economy and more foreign investments, it's no surprise that we have become a popular destination for many expats. However, not all are opting to go for temporary accommodation, since many have already decided to stay here for the long term. So, how do Philippines law approach foreign ownership? So there are some questions that some are wanting to know the answers. And the one question is: can a foreigner buy a condo in the Philippines? The answer is yes. Generally, a foreigner can buy a condo in the Philippines. The exception is if the purchase goes beyond the condominium corporation's 60% domestic and 40% is foreign. The ownership ratio. Buying a condominium in the Philippines is not only confined to the unit itself. Ownership, or to be more precise, co-ownership, also extends to the common areas of the condominium. The entity that is formed to represent these interests is the condominium corporation, of which must be at least 60% Filipino owned According to Philippine laws, this is based on the Condominium Act of the Philippines, Republic Act 4726 as amended by Republic Act 7899. And another question is, can a dual citizen buy property in the Philippines? The answer is yes. A dual citizen can buy a property in the Philippines. This is one of the exceptions to the general rule that foreigners may not own real estate in the country. Philippine citizens do not lose such citizenship even if they acquire the citizenship or of another country. This is a state policy. It is based on the dual citizenship law. This is otherwise known as Republic Act number 9225 or the Citizenship and Reacquisition Act of 2003. As such, dual citizens continue to enjoy the rights accorded to them under Philippine laws. One of them is the right to purchase real estate in the country and register it under their name. This is subject only to certain size restrictions. And the last question is, can a foreigner inherit property in the Philippines? The answer is yes. A foreigner can inherit property in the Philippines. It is the 1987 Philippine Constitution itself that grants this authority, particularly Section 7 of Article 12 on the national economy and patrimony. Note, however, that the inheritance must not be made through intestate succession or through a living will. Otherwise, what has been expressly prohibited by constitutional law can be circumvented through a mere will. The inheritance contemplated in this case is intestate succession only, or when a Filipino citizen owning the property passes away without leaving a will. So, guys, if you have any questions or the topic that I tackled this today, are foreigners allowed to buy property in the Philippines? So you can comment this video below, so I will answer all your queries. That's all, and thank you and God bless.